don't embrace STEAM? What are the alternatives in terms of the legacy we leave our young?
So when we are not experts in the Irish education system whatsoever, but as we look in the US education system, examples abound of what is going to happen when you don't pursue an H2O based education system. Many educators and many educational systems are dry. As you noted at the beginning, Teresa, we have an article that documents students often leave higher education less excited about learning than when they started. That is the legacy that we're going to end up with if we continue down dry pathways instead of the pathways based on the science of learning, growth, and change.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that through the framework of the STEAM principles. If we leave people with social support deficits, then people will be often disconnected and very often in despair. If they leave the education system with time perception problems, they're usually left with lots of regret. I wish I would have spent my time differently.
And burnout.
If they leave with enjoyment deficits, well, that gets back to your anxiety, and I'll add depression to that. You can't enjoy your life. If they leave with accessibility deficits, people don't know how to access the information they need in order to achieve their goals. We leave them with motivation deficits, then they're less likely to pursue their goals in the face of the barriers that we just discussed. So to me, that's sort of a dry wasteland. And if we don't change what we're doing to create these, I like to call them oasis, H2O oases, then we're leaving people out into a pretty dry metaphorical desert. And I don't want to be a part of that. And I know you don't either.
I know you did write about STEAM competence and STEAM incompetence. What for you is the difference, STEAM competence versus STEAM incompetence, Martin?
It's really all the stuff that we've talked about. Being aware that organizations need to have the water elements, that individuals to be effective in an organization need to have the STEAM elements. That's sort of the essential sauce of this. As we were talking, I also dawned on my own life. I mean, what dawned on me was something in my own life where, and Brian may not even know this, but he probably does. For most of my life as a child, I was labeled an underachiever. And yeah, absolutely. It was that was sort of the one word description of me, the underachiever.
He won't go far.
Yeah, won't go. That's right. Exactly. And it turns out that I was an underachiever because I was in an educational system that was really dry, but I was 10, so I didn't understand these components. Or I was 12 or whatever. When I got to college, there was enough latitude that I just could move to the spaces that really motivated and excited me, and it was transformational. And I don't think from my first semester of college until now, I've been labeled an underachiever. Maybe, but not very often. And the difference wasn't me, I'm the same person. The difference was that I was able to go to places and spaces that were water and steam based, although I didn't have that lingo then, and I got to get away from dry spaces.
You were probably labeled a late developer.
Right.
Yeah.
And Teresa, just to kind of summarize that, and I've had so many discussions with people who were mislabeled and then sort of freed themselves from the label. A phrase in this country that holds a lot of meaning is life, liberty, and happiness pursuit. And so we talk a lot in this country about H2O Centred Education being all about preparing people to be life, liberty, and happiness pursuit experts. Dry education is the opposite, usually results in shorter lifespans, less experience of freedom of choice, and lower subjective well-being. So that's one of the ways I like to differentiate between, to differentiate between H2O and dry education, and to make clear the stakes of what it is we're talking about here. Do we want to promote longer lifespans, more freedom of choice for more people, and more well-being for individuals, or do we want to do the opposite? And I know what side I'm on.